Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone. When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, You can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Pracuje pan dla firmy handlowej? Ja też.
Nazywa się Good Connections. To jest bardzo duża firma.
O, ja też tam pracuję. Możesz mi mówić na ty.
Naprawdę? Katarzyna? Możesz to przeliterować?
Nie, Kasia. K-A-S-I-A.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Też.
Also, too,
Bardzo.
very much,
Tam.
there,
Mówić.
to speak,
Móc.
can,
Naprawdę.
really,
Przeliterować.
to spell,
Firma.
company.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Pracuje pan dla firmy handlowej? Ja też.
Nazywa się Good Connections. To jest bardzo duża firma.
O, ja też tam pracuję. Możesz mi mówić na ty.
Naprawdę? Katarzyna? Możesz to przeliterować?
Nie, Kasia. K-A-S-I-A.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Masz jakieś hobby?
Tak, lubię bieganie.
O, ja też. I bardzo lubię pływać.
Naprawdę? Ja też.
Pływam codziennie przed pracą. Przyłączysz się?
Jasne.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Jakiś.
Some. Any.
Hobby.
Hobby.
Lubić.
To like.
Bieganie.
Running.
Bardzo.
Very. Much.
Pływać.
To swim.
Przed.
Before.
Praca.
Work. Job.
Przyłączyć się.
To join.
Jasne.
Sure.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Masz jakieś hobby?
Tak, lubię bieganie.
O, ja też. I bardzo lubię pływać.
Naprawdę? Ja też.
Pływam codziennie przed pracą. Przyłączysz się?
Jasne.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hello everybody, welcome to Top Polish Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. So let's go! Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Thank you, but I'm not Polish. Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Thank you, but I'm not Polish. So I guess after long years of studying Polish, somebody can mistake you for an actual Polish person and then you can say, oh, no, thank you, I'm flattered, but I'm not Polish. Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. It took me only a year to become fluent. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. It took me only a year to become fluent. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. And if you're a girl, you want to change this nauczyłem się into nauczyłam się. Nauczyłam się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. Będę mówił po polsku jak Polak w 3 lata. I will speak Polish like a Polish person in 3 years. Będę mówił po polsku jak Polak w 3 lata. I will speak Polish like a Polish person in 3 years. That can be a goal for you to achieve and kind of something you can do. So please try. Good luck. Powodzenia. Uczyłem się polskiego przez 10 lat. I've been learning Polish for 10 years. Another thing that will leave people impressed is saying that you've been learning Polish for a very, very long time. And you can say, uczyłem się polskiego przez 10 lat. I've been learning Polish for 10 years. And remember, if you are a girl, you want to change uczyłem się into uczyłam się. Mogę oglądać polskie filmy bez napisów. I can watch Polish movies without subtitles. Mogę oglądać polskie filmy bez napisów. I can watch Polish movie without subtitles. This is something that will really impress people, and I guess you can achieve it by watching a lot of movies and then studying Polish with polishpod101.com. These two methods combined will lead you to success. Potrafię zapamiętać około 50 nowych polskich słów dziennie. I can memorize around 50 new Polish words a day. Potrafię zapamiętać około 50 nowych polskich słów dziennie. I can memorize around 50 new Polish words a day. That's a kind of achievement, yet, think about it, it's not very difficult to do. So if you try to study with like flashcards from polishpod101.com, you can actually may be able to do it in a very, very short time, go to up to like 50 words, because words are very similar and there are the parts that you already know, and that kind of helps you memorize. So be sure to think about it whenever you're learning a new word. Polski jest fajny i prosty w nauce. Polish is fun and easy to learn. I guess a lot of native speakers think that Polish is very difficult, and at this, so you can amaze them by saying Polski jest fajny i prosty w nauce. Polski jest fajny i prosty w nauce. Polish is fun and easy to learn. Well, I would be amazed if somebody told me that, so please try it out on your Polish friends. Mówię nie tylko po polsku, ale jeszcze w kilku innych językach. Apart from knowing Polish, I can speak a few other languages as well. Another thing that many people find amazing is if you can speak not only Polish but other languages as well. So in that case you can say mówię nie tylko po polsku, ale jeszcze w kilku innych językach. Apart from knowing Polish, I can speak few other languages as well. That's definitely something to amaze your friends. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. I'm learning Polish all by myself. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. Which means I'm learning Polish by myself. I'm learning Polish by myself. Polish is a very difficult language to learn, so learning it by yourself is actually very difficult. It requires some time, it requires effort, yet if you can do it, that's really amazing. Go for it. Nie mam najmniejszych problemów z polską ortografią. I have no problems with Polish orthography. So what is the most difficult part in studying Polish? Well, somebody would say it's an aspect, but I guess there is another part that's very difficult, and it's orthography. And actually, orthography is difficult not only to foreigners, it's very difficult to Polish people as well. And we got a lot of people, not even our president can spell some words, so please watch news for that one. So, if you want to impress somebody, you can say, nie mam najmniejszych problemów z polską ortografią. Which means, I have no problems with Polish orthography. That's actually cool. I do have problems with Polish orthography, so I would be impressed. Thank you for watching. This was 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. And did you try any of these? Which one works the best? Please let us know in the comments, and please remember to like this video. And for more words and for more lessons, please visit polishpod101.com. Thank you again and see you next time. Cześć! Hello everybody, welcome back to Polish Top Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn top 10 must-know vocabulary for the restaurant. So our first word is kellner, waiter, and it's a masculine noun. So for example, if a waiter is very rude, you can say ten kelner jest bardzo niegrzeczny. Ten kelner jest bardzo niegrzeczny. This waiter is very rude. And our next word is kelnerka, waitress. So kellner is the masculine form, while kelnerka is the feminine. For example, you can say ile zarabia kelnerka? Ile zarabia kelnerka? How much money does a waitress make? So in general, the service in Poland is not that bad, but sometimes you may be unhappy with something, and if that's the case, it's okay not to tip, because the waiter or the waitress, they usually earn enough to cover their salary. But a rule in Poland would be to tip more or less 15-20%, but it's obviously up to you. So if you are more than happy with the service, you can go for 20%. If you are not so happy, you can go for 10 or just leave. Nobody will be angry at you. Our next word is almost the same as the English one, and it's menu. Menu. And with so many different restaurants, maybe there is some food you don't eat, something you don't like, and there is like vegetarian menu, and there is a vegan menu, and there is of course all the other types like pescatarian menu. So for example, when you walk in the restaurant and you are not so much into fish or meat, you can just ask, czy mają Państwo menu wegetariańskie? Do you have a vegetarian menu? And surprisingly, even though Polish cuisine is so heavy on meat, we do have plenty, and I mean plenty, vegetarian restaurants all over, spread all over the Poland, but especially in Warsaw. Warsaw is being known as European capital of vegetarian food and vegan food. And of course, one of the very important words when you're in the restaurant is zamówienie, order. Zamówienie, order. So zamówienie comes from a verb zamawiać, which means to order. So in English it's the same, basically almost the same word. It's just noun and a verb, order and to order. In Polish it's zamówienie as the noun and zamawiać as the verb. So the waiter can come to your table and ask, czy mogę przyjąć zamówienie? May I take your order? Another very important word, not only for restaurant, but in general, is woda, water. Woda means just water. And I know that in some countries you can get water for free in a restaurant, but in Poland you pay for it always. Be careful when you order it, just check on the menu what the price is, because it can be actually pretty high, almost the same as juice or even beer sometimes. And we do have both sparkling and non-sparkling water. It's very popular. Both are. So for example, if you are the kind of person who doesn't like sparkling water, you would like to ask for non-sparkling one, you would say, poproszę wodę niegazowaną. I would like to have non-sparkling water. And of course, when you finish the meal, the most important thing is dessert. Dessert. Dessert, you probably feel like you've heard it somewhere because it sounds so much like the English word. Dessert is dessert. 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 So when the waiter or the waiters will be taking your order, they will probably ask at the end, czy życzy sobie pani coś na deser? Would you like something for the dessert? So we've got a lot of different desserts in Poland, and one of the most famous one would be szarlotka, which is an apple pie served with ice cream and with whipped cream. Another very good one, but available, I think, only for Christmas, is the popseed cake, which is the best for me. I like my favorite dessert ever. And of course, there is a lot of other pies. There's a wonderful cheesecake, very different from what you will see in all the other countries. So please be sure to try it out. Szef kuchni. Chef. So if you go with your friends to this very nice restaurant and you know that the chef here is very, very famous, you can say in Polish, szef kuchni w tej restauracji jest bardzo znany. The chef in this restaurant is very famous. Fast food. Fast food, which is just fast food. I guess the accent is more like Polish. And then another thing is that, you know that in Polish we change nouns, we change the endings. So even though it's an English word, we would still change it. So it's like fast food, fast foodów, fast food. So even though it's an English word, we'll still change it, like fast food sometimes would just become fast foodów. And we do have a Polish type of fast food as well, which is pretty old. This Polish type, it's actually Polish hot dog, and we still call it hot dog, but there is no there is no sausage or anything or any meat inside. It's just mushrooms, and it comes from the time long time ago when we literally didn't have meat. It was very difficult to get meat. Even though people had money for that, they just couldn't buy it. So that's the invention of that time, and I still remember it. Oh my gosh, when I was little, I just loved to go with my mom and buy those hot dogs, and we called them hot dogs, but they were like hot dogs with mushrooms, and that's it, just mushrooms, like just the bun with mushrooms. You cannot see them so often anymore. You can still probably when you just look around, but it's not that common anymore. If you are like me and you don't really like fast food, you will say nie lubię fast foodów. I don't like fast food. Restauracja, restaurant, and you can already hear it sounds very much like the English word restaurant, because it's restaurant. Restauracja, restauracja. And I guess you know that a lot of restaurants are being judged by having Michelin star or not having it. I don't think there is a lot of restaurants in Poland with Michelin star, but the one that do have it, they will be extremely, and I mean it like extremely expensive. Nevertheless, if you find one, you can always say ta restauracja ma gwiazdkę Michelin. This restaurant has a Michelin star. Rachunek, bill. Rachunek comes from a very old Polish word which we probably don't use anymore. A verb, rachować. Rachować means just to count. And right now we would just say liczyć, not rachować. But this word, its form, it's still there in the word rachunek. Rachunek. And it's also very important to just look at your bill before you go back home, because sometimes people may make mistakes, on purpose or not on purpose, but just it happens. And if something is wrong, you can always say przepraszam, ale ten rachunek się nie zgadza. I'm sorry, but this bill is not correct. Thank you for watching. This was Top 10 Must Know Vocabulary for the Restaurant. Be sure to like this video and please tell us in comments what kind of Polish food do you like. And if you want more content like this, please go to polishpod101.com. See you!
Cześć!
Cześć.
Jak się masz?
Dobrze, a ty?
Świetnie.
Cześć.
Hej,
Jak masz na imię?
jestem Gosia, a ty?
Jestem Alex.
Miło mi. Fajne masz imię.
Dzięki.
Jak ci idzie nauka?
Chyba dobrze.
Jakieś problemy?
Tak, wymowa. Litery ży albo zi są bardzo trudne.
Nie martw się, dobrze ci idzie.
Przepraszam panią,
Tak?
upuściła pani rękawiczkę.
Naprawdę?
Tak, proszę.
Dziękuję bardzo. Hej, Alex.
Cześć.
Skąd jesteś?
Jestem z Australii, a ty?
Jestem z Polski.
Super.
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Dzień dobry, nowy lokator?
Może pani powtórzyć?
Lokator, mieszka pan tutaj?
Tak,
Nazywam się Katarzyna Kowalczyk, a pan?
nazywam się Felipe Rossi.
Miło mi pana poznać, Felipe. Skąd pan jest?
Jestem z Brazylii.
Uczy się pan tutaj?
Nie, pracuję dla firmy handlowej.
Now you will hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Nowy,
New.
lokator,
Tenant.
Powtórzyć.
To repeat.
Mieszkać.
To live.
Tutaj.
Here.
Nazywać się.
To be called.
Poznać.
To meet. To get to know.
Skąd?
Where from.
Być.
To be.
Uczyć się.
To study. To learn.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Dzień dobry. Nowy lokator?
Może pani powtórzyć?
Lokator. Mieszka pan tutaj?
Tak,
Nazywam się Katarzyna Kowalczyk. A pan?
nazywam się Felipe Rossi.
Miło mi pana poznać, Felipe. Skąd pan jest?
Jestem z Brazylii.
Uczy się pan tutaj?
Nie, pracuję dla firmy handlowej.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hello everyone and welcome to Top Polish Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 must-know autumn vocabulary. So here we go. Sweater, sweater, sweater. Sweater basically means sweater. What you can hear often from your mom, if your mom is Polish, it would be załóż sweter, which means put on the sweater. So basically Polish moms are very much concerned about your health, and whenever it's getting colder and it's at autumn and they would like, oh, put on the sweater, załóż sweter. Deszczowy, rainy. Deszczowy, rainy. So deszcz means rain in Polish, and deszczowy, it's an adjective. For example, we can say, dzisiaj jest bardzo deszczowy dzień. Today is a very rainy day. When autumn comes in Poland, we got a lot of rainy days. It's not as bad as rainy seasons in some other countries, but be sure to get your umbrella ready. Wietrzny, windy. Wietrzny. Wietrzny means windy. We got a lot of windy days in październik and in listopad, which is basically October and November. So for example, you can say listopad jest raczej wietrzny, which means November is rather windy. Chłodny, cool, cold. Chłodny. Chłodny means cool or cold, and it's an adjective. It can be used to speak about weather. So, for example, you can say październik w Polsce jest chłodny. October in Poland is cold. You can also use it about person's character. So, for example, you can say that this person is chłodny, chłodna, depending on the gender, and this means that this person is just distance. Jesień, autumn. And the next one is jesień. Jesień means autumn. So you can say lubię jesień w Polsce. I like autumn in Poland. Which I actually do because it's very beautiful. We do have all those leaves with like beautiful colors, orange and gold. And there is a lot of things to do, and you can go for a very nice walk around listopad or grudzień, which is November and December. It's getting quite cold, quite chłodno, and it's better to put on a jacket. Still, it's very nice for a walk. Zimno, cold. So the next word is, and it's getting even colder, it's zimno. Zimno means cold. So we already got chłodny, which was cool or cold, and this is an adjective. And you can say chłodno to make it an adverb. Zimno is an adverb and it means cold. You can say zimny to make it like an adjective, or zimno. Zimno is an adverb. If you're in Poland and it's December, it's rather cold in December, I would say it can get down to like, or even January, it can get down to like minus 25 degrees. So you can say dzisiaj jest bardzo zimno, which means today is very cold. Kasztan, chestnut. Okay, and what's the best thing to do in Poland in autumn? Well, the best thing is to collect kasztany, or the singular kasztan. Kasztan means just a chestnut, and I guess this is the main thing we used to do. I mean, when I was little, and when autumn came, we were going out and then just collecting kasztany and making all those small like animals and stuff. I guess nowadays it's not so popular. If you want to go and collect chestnuts, you can say, chodźmy pozbierać kasztany. Let's go pick up the chestnuts. Koszula z długim rękawem. Long sleeved shirt. Okay, so if your mom don't tell you, please put on your sweater, she will probably tell you, please put on a long sleeve shirt, which is koszula z długim rękawem. Koszula is a shirt, z długim rękawem, with long, długi, z długim rękawem, sleeve. And if you've got a Polish mom and you are going hiking, she will probably tell you, weź koszulę z długim rękawem. Take the long sleeve shirt. Święto dziękczynienia. Thanksgiving. Okay, this one is not very Polish, but I guess you can use it, especially if you come from English-speaking country and you celebrate this one. Święto dziękczynienia. Święto dziękczynienia means just Thanksgiving. Święto is a kind of celebration, and dziękczynienia it's Thanksgiving, like dziękczynienie, dziękować, you probably heard dziękuję, which means thank you. So dziękczynienie is like dziękować, dziękuję, thank you, and czynienie, which is like doing something, so doing the thank you thing. Święto dziękczynienia. So you can get curious and ask, czy obchodzicie święto dziękczynienia? Do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Which in Poland probably you hear no. No, we don't. We do have better things like Christmas. Liść, leaf. And the last word for today is liść. I guess it's very difficult to pronounce. Liść. And it means leaf. When you go and walk around, it's beautiful autumn, golden leaves falling down, you are collecting your kasztany, chestnuts, and you see this very, very beautiful leaf, you can say, jaki ładny listek. Listek, it's the same liść, it's just like a smaller version of it. So you can say, jaki ładny liść as well. And if it's very small and cute, and it's like, oh, how cute. Jaki ładny listek. What a nice leaf. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video, and if you want more, just go to polishpod101.com. Thank you again, and see you next time. Cześć!
You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose for an intercity ticket? Which option should you choose for an intercity ticket? The option on the bottom left is for an express ticket.
Bilet na pociąg Intercity.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car and seat number are you in? Which train car and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in seat 3 next to the window.
Wagon pierwszy. Miejsce do siedzenia. Trzecie. Okno.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Świąt państwowych. Trzecią niedzielę miesiąca.
You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "The next train will not stop."
Pociąg się nie zatrzymuje.
You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Wyjście wschodnie.
Hi, I'm Joanna. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Polish expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Polish. We'll start speaking right away. But first, it's important to clarify that in Polish often there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Polish people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi cię poznać means nice to meet you, but Polish people don't really use this phrase. In informal situations, it's better if you just say miło mi. Start by saying cześć. Jestem, then say your name. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Finally, if you want, say miło mi. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi. And now let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. Good day, my name is Joanna Suchecka. Nice to meet you. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. This is what you say if you're talking to a man. If you're talking to a woman, say dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. So what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Cześć has been substituted with the formal greeting dzień dobry, Polish for good day or good morning. Jestem Joanna also changed. Jestem simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, you should avoid saying this. It's better to say nazywam się Joanna Suchecka, which means my name is Joanna Suchecka. Also, in formal situations, please remember to say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from miło cię poznać to miło mi pana or panią poznać. We changed cię into pana or panią. If you use cię, you're addressing someone around your age. But if you find yourself in a formal situation or talk to a person who's older than you, use pana to address a man or panią to address a woman. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Polish is cześć. Jestem Joanna. Miło mi. The formal way to introduce yourself is dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. Or dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you feel confused about the nice to meet you part, feel free to skip it. As I mentioned before, Polish people don't use it much. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. It doesn't matter whether you're meeting a man or a woman. Do the handshake. Remember to make it quite firm. If your hand is too loose, it gives the other person a bad impression. We also say it feels like holding a dead fish. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase przepraszam. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word przepraszam, which means excuse me. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to apologize in Polish. It's very easy. First of all, good news. We don't differentiate between I'm sorry and excuse me. In Polish, we have just one word, przepraszam, which can be used in both situations when we want to apologize or draw someone's attention. There's also no difference between formal and informal situations. It's always the same przepraszam. Let's go through some situations in which przepraszam can be used. If you want to draw someone's attention, just put przepraszam in front of the question. For example, przepraszam, czy to miejsce jest wolne? Excuse me, is this seat occupied? Or przepraszam, jak dojść do dworca? Excuse me, how can I get to the train station? In such a case, you can modify the question by adding panią if you're addressing a lady or pana if you're addressing a man. For example, przepraszam panią, jak dojść do dworca? Excuse me, ma'am, how can I get to the train station? The meaning is exactly the same as before. We just emphasize the gender of a person who we talk to. You can choose whatever version you like better. Both are correct and polite. The other situation in which we use przepraszam is when we apologize. As I mentioned before, we have only this one word for making an apology. We can use it both in formal and informal situations. If you want to make your apology more complex, you could use this phrase. Jestem ci winien przeprosiny. Jestem ci winien przeprosiny. Please note that this is spoken by a man. Woman would say, jestem ci winna przeprosiny. Jestem ci winna przeprosiny. This phrase means I owe you an apology. Usually, after saying this, you are expected to explain what you did wrong or the reason why you think you owe someone an apology. There's one colloquial word used to apologize among young people. It's almost the same as the English sorry. We say sorry. Sorry. It's okay to say it to your friends, but only in the case of a small mistake, something not very serious. For example, when you step on your friend's foot or when you want to refuse going out. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Making an apology in Polish is very easy. It's enough to just say przepraszam. Here, you don't have to worry about speaking formally or informally, or the age and gender of the person you are talking to. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Polish. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Gotowi? Are you ready? Let's start. There are two ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest one. It's just one word. Dziękuję. Dziękuję. Dziękuję means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add bardzo. Dziękuję bardzo. If we want to thank a friend, usually we use a different, more casual word. Dzięki. Dzięki. Dzięki is very similar to the English thanks, so you shouldn't use it when your friend did something especially nice for you or when the situation is serious. We usually use it to thank for small favors. For example, if a friend bought a drink for us, lent us a pen, helped us carry our bags, and so on. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are two different ways to do it. The first is nie ma za co. Nie ma za co. This means you're welcome. Nie ma za co can be used with anybody, except in a very formal situation. In such cases, it's better to use this expression. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Literally, this phrase means pleasure is on my side. It's not a very common thing to say among young people, or between friends and family members. But it will be considered very good manners if you answer with this expression in a formal situation, such as while talking to your boss or speaking to someone much older than you. You can also simply say it to someone you don't know very well. So when someone says dziękuję to you, you can reply with nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. If you hear dzięki, it might be a bit too much to respond to this casual phrase by saying nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. So how might you react then? You have two options. First one is just to say nothing. Don't worry, it's a normal thing to do. The second option is to say spoko. Spoko. This means something like it's cool. If you want, you can also answer using this phrase. Nie ma problemu. Nie ma problemu. This means it's no problem. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you want to keep it simple, just use dziękuję or dziękuję bardzo when you want to thank someone. It doesn't matter whether the situation is formal or informal. It's always the same. Remember not to say przyjemność po mojej stronie to your friends, because it will sound a little bit weird. If someone thanks you saying dzięki, just answer spoko. But please note that these two words are very casual. In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Polish, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Here's an informal way to say it. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy is a particle which has no meaning. It's similar to the English do. In Polish, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Since you can understand what the pronoun is by looking at the verb conjugation, we usually skip the pronoun itself. That's why there's no pronoun after czy. Next, we've got the verb mówisz, which means speak. Then there's po, which we always have to put right before a language name. And finally, angielsku, which means English. We're now going to make this sentence formal. First of all, we have to change mówisz into mówi, because the pronoun is changed from you into a respectful pronoun meaning sir or ma'am. Then we add pan, which means sir, or pani, which means ma'am. Everything else stays the same. Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Adding przepraszam, excuse me, makes the sentence more polite. Przepraszam, czy mówi pan po angielsku? Przepraszam, czy mówi pani po angielsku? The response you will receive could be one of these four. Tak, yes. Tak. Trochę. A little. Trochę. Nie. No. Nie. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. No, I don't speak English. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. Since the last one is a negative statement, we need to say nie before the verb mówię. Notice also that the verb is slightly different than before. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ourselves, so the sentence is nie mówię po angielsku. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Polish people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute po angielsku with po niemiecku for German, po rosyjsku for Russian, po włosku for Italian, po hiszpańsku for Spanish, po francusku for French. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Poland. Gotowi? Are you ready? Zaczynamy. Let's start. There are a few informal greetings in Polish. Cześć. Cześć. Cześć means hi or hello. Another informal greeting is siema. Siema. This phrase also means hi, but it's used only by young people. Another very common greeting is hey. 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 Hey is very easy because it's exactly the same as English hey. All these greetings are very informal, and we should only use them with friends or close relatives. Now let's move on to formal greetings in Polish. There are only two that you need to know. We'll start with dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Literally, dzień dobry means good day. We can use dzień dobry during the whole day, from early morning until evening. If it's the evening, we would say dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór. What should you say when you leave? Polish people usually say do widzenia when living in a formal situation. Do widzenia. Do widzenia means goodbye. If, however, we are saying goodbye to friends or relatives, we can use the informal papa. Pa, or simply pa. Now you can greet people and say goodbye in many different ways in Polish. Let's review them all again. First, formal greetings. Dzień dobry. Use this phrase during the day. Dobry wieczór. Use this phrase in the evening. The informal greetings are cześć, siema, hej. When living in a formal situation, we say do widzenia. And in an informal situation, it's papa or just pa. Easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Do you remember siema? It's an abbreviation of jak się masz, which means how are you? But we just use it in the same way as hi. It's a very common greeting among young people. You will find, as you continue to study Polish, that new greetings constantly appear among young people who often come up with new uses for well-known phrases or their abbreviations.
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Witam, co dla pani?
Poproszę pierogi z kapustą i z grzybami.
A dla pana? Poproszę pierogi ruskie.
Poproszę rachunek. Czy można płacić kartą?
Niestety nie.
Felipe, masz gotówkę?
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Witam.
Welcome. Hello.
Poprosić.
To ask someone for something.
Pierogi z kapustą i grzybami.
Dumplings with sauerkraut and mushrooms.
Rachunek.
Check. Bill.
Móc.
Can. To be able to.
Płacić.
To pay.
Karta.
Card. Credit card.
Gotówka.
Cash.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Witam, co dla pani?
Poproszę pierogi z kapustą i z grzybami.
A dla pana? Poproszę pierogi ruskie.
Poproszę rachunek. Czy można płacić kartą?
Niestety nie.
Felipe, masz gotówkę?
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.